So let's go live now to Washington, D.C. That is the Defence Minister Richard Marles. He's there with Penny Wong too. Let's listen in.
Productive meeting, very much in the spirit of the meeting which occurred between the Prime Minister and the President in October. And indeed, at that meeting where the President made clear that we were moving full steam ahead with the alliance and full steam ahead with AUKUS, full steam ahead was something of a motto for what we were talking about today. And it really was a very constructive, warm, frank meeting between the four of us, which took the alliance forward another year. We all acknowledge that we are living in an increasingly contested world, and it's a world in which it really matters to be doubling down on friends and, in this instance, doubling down on alliance partners. And of course, the alliance is the centrepiece of our foreign and strategic policy. It is fundamentally important to Australia's national security, and that was very much at the heart of the discussions today. Next year will be the 75th anniversary of the formal establishment of the alliance, which occurred back in 1951. And with that in mind, from a defence perspective, we were very keen to make sure that the momentum that is there in the relationship continues over the next 12 months in respect of defence. And so there were very significant progress that we made in relation to that. Specifically, firstly, in respect of AUKUS, we all affirmed the importance of meeting the time frame of the Submarine Rotational Force West, beginning at HMAS Stirling, south of Perth, in Q4 of 2027. And we reaffirmed the significance of that. And I might say that what has occurred there in an increased frequency of visits of US submarines and an increased complexity of maintenance of those submarines is really encouraging progress in terms of meeting that milestone. In the last 6 weeks, we've had the USS Vermont undertake the most extensive maintenance on a United States nuclear-powered submarine outside of the United States ever. And all of that was done with Australian workers doing that work. And again, that is a first in terms of non-Americans working to that extent on a United States nuclear-powered submarine. A theme over the previous AUSMINs that both Penny and I have been involved in has been the growth of American force posture in Australia. That continued in what we discussed today, and coming out of today's meeting, there will be further infrastructure investments at RAF Base Darwin, RAF Base Tyndall and RAF Base Amberley, which will support increased rotations of American military aircraft. That includes fighter planes, bombers and intelligence, surveillance and reconnaissance aircraft, and that builds on the existing rotations which are happening right now. But it highlights the significance within the context of all of our force posture, of the force posture that is now underway in the air domain. We are growing our logistics work, and this AUSMIN, we've agreed to see the pre-positioning of significant American assets in Australia, and that includes the Ospreys, which are operated by the United States Marines, and particularly through the Marine Rotational Force Darwin. And that was a very important outcome. We've also established the US Oversight and Support Group. This is a measure that we have been seeking to have from the United States now for some years, so we're really pleased that it forms an outcome of this year's AUSMIN. Given the growing American footprint in Australia, what we've really been seeking is a coordination of that on the American side, and that is what this group will be, and it's a really important administrative outcome of this year's AUSMIN. In the space of working together on defence industry, we've agreed a 2-year plan, a 2-year pathway in respect of the guided weapons and explosive ordnance enterprise, and that will see the development, co-production and co-sustainment of hypersonic cruise missiles. We'll also see the sustainment of the AIM-9X missile and AMRAAMs. And again, this is a really important measure in terms of us collaborating in respect of guided weapons. And finally, as an important enabler of all of that, we talked about continuing to build a seamless defence industrial base between our two countries and further removing the barriers which have existed over the years to having that occur. And we've seen really significant headway in that respect over the last few years, but this AUSMIN continues in that regard. Penny will speak more about critical minerals, but the framework that was agreed between the President and the Prime Minister in October really is a game changer, and importantly we spoke about the significance of that in relation to national security. Taken as a whole, this has been a really important AUSMIN. Of course, it's the first AUSMIN that we have done since the election of President Trump, obviously the first AUSMIN that we've done with Secretaries Hegseth and Rubio. Deeply constructive, very substantive, and all of us are very excited about how we are taking this relationship into the future and what next year holds.